You've got to look at yourself as a brand. A lot of people don't necessarily do that. And in order to stand out, you need to be different. Don't be a copycat. There's a lot of people doing the same kind of things and copying a lot of other people. What you need to start doing is you need to start positioning yourself as a unique individual with unique expertise. There's a lot of people that want to make a difference, but they're not following their own messages. They're not following whatever it is that they preach. So I highly recommend that you walk your talk. You don't copy other people, you take yourself seriously, you take your brand seriously, but you also look at opportunities to either partner with people or find the platforms where you can speak. The platforms where you're going to have hundreds or thousands of people attending, and that's the best way for you to start connecting and meeting and working with individuals. It's the best, it's the easiest way, and it can happen very, very quickly.
Now, the Best You Personal and Professional Development Virtual Expos are happening globally in 2021. Whether you want to speak, exhibit, or attend, these are online events for all those passionate about living a better life, creating a better world, gaining greater mindfulness and meaning in these new times, and becoming the best version of themselves. Book your speaking slot, your virtual booth, and get tickets to attend now. Are you sick and tired of struggling to get your career to where you want it to be? Working with the right coach can be a life-changing experience, and Bernardo Moya is changing lives all over the world. Learn how to create revenue streams, attract higher qualified clients consistently, market your brand, and promote your business to a global audience. Bernardo is one of the biggest names in the world of personal development. He is an entrepreneur, an author, a speaker, and a founder and chief inspirational officer of the Best You Corporation. So fast-track your career now.
My approach when it comes down to life really is about the holistic approach. And the holistic means is that everything that you do is important for you to become who you need to become. It starts with becoming aware of your thoughts. It starts surrounding yourself with the right people, focusing on the things that are important, building relationships, love. It's all important. It's all part of the process of growing. Life's too short. And if you don't really focus on where you're going and where you want to do and who you want to become, what's going to happen is eventually one day you will regret it. One of the most important questions I ask in the book, the question is, what are you here for? What is your purpose? And we're all here for a reason. You need to understand what that reason is, and you need to start working towards it now.
The Best You is leading the way in the industry of personal and professional growth. Through our magazine, expos, e-learning, TV, club, and awards, The Best You's objective is to help people achieve their dreams, to do more, to be more, to live a life without limits. Join us if you believe in helping and inspiring others, in changing the world, in making it a more just and fair place through education and inspiration. Our goal, everyone, everywhere, now. If you are interested in making a difference, working, partnering, volunteering, supporting, or even licensing The Best You, let's talk. Let's work together and make the world a better place.
The Best You TV, a TV channel with only the best business leaders and influencers ready to help you rise to the top. Available now on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Google Play. Learn and grow from in-depth interviews, documentaries, inspirational talks, and motivational masterclasses from the world's biggest thought leaders, speakers, teachers, authors, coaches, and highly successful business gurus. The Best You TV is now live.
Hey, welcome back. Day 2, the Best You Expo, Virtual Expo Miami. We're very excited. as always, we love what we do. It's a lot of work, but it's just another day to help other people find inspiration, to find a way to become the best version of themselves. So this is the Best You Virtual Expo in Miami. It's our first virtual expo there. And we've got a lot of Spanish speakers which are joining us today and tomorrow. And we've got the main stage as well. And we've got the MMI, the Masters, Mentors and Influencers. Today we have an amazing lineup of speakers ready for you. We have Dr. Fabrizio Mancini. We've got Bill Walsh. We have Ken Honda. We've got Lisa Nichols. And the list just goes on and on. That's just for the rest of the day. Darren Winters is also going to be joining us, teaching us some trading. So look, it's just a fantastic day. I'm very blessed, very honored, and very thankful to a lot of people. Now, I'm going to be thanking a lot of people later on today, and I've invited a few guests to come along. And I want to make some announcements of some of the winners and some of the things that we're doing. But what I wanted to do first was to invite someone that's actually who's part of the Best You team, part of the Best You crew, who is already working with us, collaborating with us. And I want to invite her soon because, hey, she's got work to do. She's going to be on the Spanish speaking stage, introducing all our Spanish guests which are joining us today, and I'm going to be asking her some questions. So this is Elizabeth Leon, who's going to be joining us. Elizabeth, how are you?
¿Qué tal, Bernardo? ¿Qué tal? Me da muchísimo gusto saludarte. Perdóname porque estaba sin audio y no te logré escuchar. I'm sorry I didn't get to hear you because you hadn't audio.
No
and
problem.
I didn't get you.
No problem. I was just saying, Elizabeth, how nice, how great you've been, and obviously kind of like, you know, you're part of the team, part of the crew, and what a fantastic job you've done in putting all this together, because you've been collaborating and helping me get the message out there. So how are you?
No te escucho.
No? Okay. So you have a problem with the audio. No me oyes? No.
No te puedo escuchar. Do you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Oh my God, I can hear you. Let me just a couple of minutes and I'll be back because I can hear you.
Technical issues, no problem. Join us back in a minute. So Elizabeth is part of the team, part of the crew. She's been helping us put an amazing lineup of people together who are just going to be joining us on the Spanish speaking room. We've got Eduardo Macé, we've got Fabrizio Mancini, who's co-hosting as well on the Spanish speaking room. We have Mabel Yam, we've got Dr. Maritza Fuentes, who's joining us as well. There's going to be a panel there, which I'm going to be joining. So I love it. I'm very, very excited about bringing the Latino community. I'm very excited in taking the Best You Expo to other countries around the world. So if you have what it takes and you want to partner with us, make sure that you connect with us. Look, one of the exciting things about this particular expo is that we're really emphasizing and focusing on giving people opportunities not only to learn, but to win, to be able to be coached, to be able to be mentored by a lot of these great speakers, a lot of the great authors that are already contributing. And we're giving over $100,000 away. We've got Darren Winters giving today a course on trading. So if you join us today and you're able to be part of it, well, you're going to have an opportunity to be able to win. You might be one of the lucky winners, and his trading is over $5,000. Lisa Nichols, if you join her talk, she's giving a one-to-one coaching with Lisa Nichols, which is valued over $2,000. So that's a phenomenal opportunity. Also, Bill Walsh is donating some free training, and it's around $2,000 the value of his training. So every single speaker is contributing, and Didi Wong, and everyone is. So you have an opportunity to win. And I'm going to announce some of the winners that actually won yesterday. So there's some of you that might be here today again, or some of you that maybe attended yesterday might find out either right now because you're going to hear it, or you're going to find out on social media that you might be one of the winners. So for example, we got Michael Laukin. He's won one of our prizes, which is an Expand Your Brand package, which is valued at $3,750. So this is a Best You Expand Your Brand. And what this entails is it gives you the opportunity to really expand your brand, to be able to publish and write articles for the Best You magazine, to be able to speak at the Best You Expo, to be able to be featured on our social media platforms, to be able to create awareness and really take advantage of our platform. So Michael Laukin, you won that $3,750 Expand Your Brand Leader Package. Kay Thomas, you have won, oh my God, a Best You TV series valued at $3,500. So that's a prize of $3,500 for you to be featured in the Best You TV series. So, hey, hopefully you're one of those lucky ones. And if you're not here and you're watching this recording, well, maybe you want to attend the next Best You Expo. It could be you. Elena Martinenko has won the John Shin 90-minute branding session. John Shin was on stage yesterday. He was on fire. I love John. He was such great energy. If you didn't watch the recording, if you didn't see it live, you've got to watch the recording. John was amazing. So his prize is for his 90-minute branding session, $2,500. And the winner of that is Elena Martinenko. Greg Denizard. Greg has won a Dr. Faye Wilson 1-hour live coaching valued at $19.97. Janet Krell has won an Expand Your Brand starter package valued at $19.50. Desiree Olaves have won a Jenna Rodriguez new Amazon Echo Dot and a 60-minute power hour with a private breakthrough session valued at $597. So those are the lucky winners that won yesterday. And apart from that, well, we've got Leonie Mattison, who's won the Seymour Johnson and Christina Pujol 2 and Dumente coaching. So that's a one-to-one English valued at $6,000. So congratulations, Leonie, for that. A realignment coach, you've won also the second. So Leonie Mattison and realignment coach, you both won a $6,000 one-to-one coaching with Seymour Johnson. So congratulations to that. We're going to be announcing all this in our Facebook group. So if you're not part of it, please make sure you join us on Facebook, the Best You community. We're going to be announcing all the winners there today. And then we've got lots of winners that have won lots of the other prizes. I'm giving my book, The Question, Find Your True Purpose. We're giving access to the Best You online. Haram is winning or has won a Dr. Fabrizio Mancini one-to-one coaching. That's a 1 month, $5,000 prize. And that is Dr. Fabrizio Mancini is speaking today. So congratulations. I hope you watch him. I hope you join us. So those are the winners. We're going to continue to announce them. We're going to continue to announce them on the chat. So please make sure that you connect with us and that you take advantage of this amazing opportunity if you're one of the lucky winners. Now, one of the things we were talking about yesterday in quite a lot of detail, we were talking about the Best You TV. We were talking about the fact that the Best You Expo is streamed directly on television. So if you are at the Best You Expo, well, congratulations, because you've got the opportunity, because you're here live, to win some of these awards. The way you win is you register, and then if you register and you are actually here, you've got the opportunity to win. But this is being streamed live on television. The Best You Expo, our last expos, are all streamed live on television. So you can watch it on Roku, you can watch it on Amazon, you can watch it on Apple TV. All you need to do is obviously have either an Apple box, you need to have a Roku stick, or you need to have an Amazon Fire Stick, and you just look for the app, the Best You Corporation, and that's it. You find the app, download it, put it on there, and it's like your Netflix and everything else. And you can find and see all our content. And we're going to be showcasing some of the content that we have, some of the shows that we're producing, some of the things that we're creating. But this is particularly live. So everyone that spoke yesterday, John Shin, it was streamed live. We have Mas Sajadi yesterday. Mas is also becoming a founder of the Best You TV. So Mas spoke yesterday. His show is going to be on the Best You TV. And we've got Nicola Smith Jackson, who's also a founder. She's speaking on Sunday. Her show's going to be there, Doria Cordova. And we've got more and more content coming on the Best You TV. So we're very excited because we believe that the future of live events is on demand. The future of live events is for these events to be streamed. So you can watch it from the comfort of your home, and you can watch it when you want to watch it. All this content will be available for you literally 48 hours afterwards. It will be all uploaded onto the Best You TV. So let me just play you a very quick commercial, which is going to give you a little bit of information about the Best You TV. And I'm going to show you another commercial about a new series that we're launching, which is called the Best Series. And the Best Series is the best coaches, the best speakers, the best authors, and the best mentors. So we're looking for people that want to be featured in any of these shows. We're looking for people that want to have their content on TV. And we're giving you the opportunity, if you want to speak at the Best You Expos anywhere around the world. Obviously, potentially, it can be also streamed on television, and this content will be there. So people that have spoken in previous expos have their content already uploaded on Best You TV. Let's show you very quickly these two quick commercials, and I'll be right back. Thank you so much.
The Best You TV, a TV channel with only the best business leaders and influencers ready to help you rise to the top. Available now on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Google Play. Learn and grow from in-depth interviews, documentaries, inspirational talks, and motivational masterclasses from the world's biggest thought leaders, speakers, teachers, authors, coaches, and highly successful business gurus. The Best You TV is now live.
People want to be the best, become the best, learn from the best. That's why in 2021, The Best You TV will bring you its new TV series that will feature the top and the best speakers, coaches, authors, and mentors. Coming soon to The Best You TV.
So yesterday we highlighted some of the amazing speakers that are literally already part of the best coaches, the best speakers, the best authors, and the best mentors. These are people that are going to have their own episode. And what it consists of is obviously a very featured interview with a voiceover where we really highlight their career. We highlight, what makes them stand out as a coach, as a speaker, as an author, or as potentially a mentor. So if you have what it takes, if you have something to share, if you want to be part of the series, make sure that you contact us. You got the details below. You can go to thebestyou.co, and there within the TV portfolio, you can just literally apply. There's many opportunities for you to get involved. We're also now very excited to announce that we're going to be in London. Our next expo is the Best You Expo, and it's going to be in London. And we're back. That's where it all started. It all started 6 years ago. I shared the story that, literally 5 years ago, 5 years ago, I came up with this idea, this concept of the Best You Expo, and we started with the first expo in London. And I shared the story that the first day there was only, I was expecting hundreds of people at the door, and I think it was like 5 or 6, and the rest were all my people, all my registration staff and team and crew welcoming them. And then the expo grew, and the last one, which was in London, which was like 2 years ago now, and we had around 14,000 people show up. So the expo grew exponentially to what it is today. It's a fantastic brand, and it's a fantastic show, a fantastic place where obviously we've highlighted thousands of speakers throughout the years. And we've had more than 70,000 people attend. So we're going to be back in London virtually. It's where it all started, and we're really excited. So if you're in the US and you want to have access to all the amazing connections that we have in Europe, in the UK, hey, this is the time to reach out. If, on the other hand, you want to get involved in the virtual expo, you want to have your talk, if you want to connect, network with all the people that we have, well, look, it's a fantastic opportunity. We're very excited. We're expecting thousands of people to show up at the Best You Expo in London. So I'm going to play a very quick commercial that's going to show you a little bit more about the Best You Expo in case you haven't heard about it. Maybe this is the first time, but I'll play that with you to give you just a bit of a feel of how it's grown, and where we are today.
Now, the Best You Personal and Professional Development Virtual Expos are happening globally in 2021. If you are a coach, a motivational speaker, a therapist, and are looking to transform your business, build a community, and generate customers from a global audience, this is the opportunity for you. Now is your chance to join forces with the Best You, one of the largest personal development brands on the planet. Book your speaking slot, your virtual booth, and get tickets to attend now.
Well, and that's it. So we're very excited to be back in London. You've got the dates. It's on the webpage of bestyouexpo.com. And we announced yesterday as well, that's a new announcement, that we're going to be running our first expo called the Best Youth Expo. Look, the idea and the plan with the expo is if you have the connections, if you have the expertise, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a seminar promoter, and you want to collaborate, you want to partner with us, you want to work with us, and you want to take advantage of of what we've created, let's work together. We're not asking you to stop doing what you're doing. We're not asking you to discontinue or just to start something all over again. We're just asking to maybe add something different where we could work together. If you've got connections, if you've got a good work ethic, if you believe that you've got what it takes in order to take a Best You Expo to a virtual expo to India, to Asia, to the Middle East, to China, to Australia, connect with us. If you have an opportunity and a thought in mind, we're looking at exploring right now, running a Best You Expo for women. Well, maybe that's a conversation you want to have with us. And there is some great announcements happening and more announcements to come about other Best You expos happening around the world. But what I did say, and what I've already confirmed yesterday, and I had Crystal Richardson joining me yesterday, is that we're running a Best Youth Expo. Now, this is something that I've been exploring for quite some time. I believe it's about finding the future generation, the people that are going to stimulate the minds of the future. Because, as I said, I think we've really messed up the planet, and we really messed up a lot of things. And I really hope that, you know, these kids can teach us a few things, because, well, the world has changed dramatically in a very short period of time. But I think there's so much more change to happen and so much change to come. And we're very excited about the Best Youth Expo. So the Best Youth Expo is going to be happening in June. I'm going to play a very quick commercial. It's going to give you a very quick idea of what it looks like and what we're looking for and how you might be able to get involved. And hey, we'll give you a platform for you to be able to share that amazing inspirational content and ideas that you have.
Who will impact the world next? The speakers at our very first Best Youth Global, that's who. Are you a young powerhouse between the ages of 8 and 20? Then this expo is just for you. Join us on June 12th and 13th as a global influencer or global innovator and share your story, your influence, your journey to make and market your creativity, or just share your inspiration. All speakers will have automatic access to the Best Gen Zone. This is where the Best You Expo has free offerings and discount coupons just for your generation. For more information and to register as a speaker, go to thebestyouexpo.com today.
Yes, coming soon in June. So all the information is going to be available on the webpage very soon. You can register, you can sign up. So look, I'm going to invite a guest that I had, organized to come and join me this morning before I introduce my next guest, which is the next speaker, which is Dr. Fabrizio Mancini. But let me bring in Daryl Stern.
Hey, good morning, Bernardo.
Hey, how are you? Welcome.
I'm doing super fantastic. It's such a joy to be here virtually in Miami, although some of us are way up north in the cold. Miami is an amazing city. Did you know that Miami is the only large city in the United States that was founded by a woman? So that is a big part, as you were talking about, having a Best You Expo just for women and the rise of women. Here we are back in the 1800s with a woman that encouraged the railroad to come down to southern Florida and created Miami. So it's the only U.S. city that was actually created by a woman.
Well, I didn't know that. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Daryl is known around the world as the digital marketing Jedi, from being the voice of Scooter Computer on 4 episodes of Schoolhouse Rock to winning national awards in playwriting in high school. This Jedi of digital marketing teaches a philosophy that marketing is theater. So I've got the pleasure of working with Daryl. I've been working with Daryl for quite some time, and he's helped me tremendously in obviously finding ways for us to be able to connect, to reach people, and obviously, produce videos that then, are stories that then can be transcribed, that then can go onto your webpage to obviously create massive traffic and lots of SEO. So I wanted to give you just the floor just to say thank you, Daryl, and to share with you, all the great work that you've done, and appreciate how you've been helping us and the Best You.
It's been an honor. And I always say you and everyone watching are a gift to the world, and the world needs your gifts, and your best content, your best influence is already inside of you. So we just have to bring it out of you and give you the courage to tell your real honest story, even if that's your flaws and your failures and everything about you, because it brings you into a realm of being more human and more approachable. And that really is what raises the value or proposition of your brand. So it's been an honor to do this with you, Bernardo.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Thank you. And it is about creating stories around your life that then obviously can translate into people getting to connect with you, understand you, and also, present things that maybe you didn't even think yourself. So the same as someone would need a coach, or someone does need a coach, and someone does need a mentor. I mean, I believe that someone, needs someone like you that can create that content, which is obviously key, that can then be translated into all sorts of additional content that can be created afterwards.
Yes, most definitely. And sometimes even platforms. When I worked with a lady named Dr. Ruby, she's one of the top research scientists in the United States, used to work for NASA, and she was doing a vegan channel because she's now vegan. Well, when we did our stern storming, I learned from her that she had actually cured her own cancer. So I was like, we have to make this into an online course. We have to help you get out to the world this amazing thing that you have accomplished. So I lost my mom to ovarian cancer. It's a very, very tragic thing. So I wanted to get her to get up and use more of her gifts. She figured this out. So let's get this out there. So sometimes in our process of discovery, we create entirely new platforms or things that you didn't even think that you had it in you, or you kind of skip over that thing in the past that you did, in this case, curing your own cancer, and you don't realize that that's the core of something that could be your platform to make your business grow.
Yeah, and also, it can help and inspire others, obviously. So, sharing those stories is very important. So, Daryl, what are you up to now? I know you're speaking later on today, aren't you? What are you up to? What's the latest?
I'm speaking in just a couple of minutes. Last year, with the incredible year that we have, our agency actually created, I think you can see this, 1,017 videos. So we have emerged as one of the leading video content marketing agencies. And this month, we're almost up to 100 more videos. And we created 2 online courses and another one that's going to come out in February. So we are just hitting the ground running, just doing these stern storming sessions and creating these online courses and blowing up these YouTube channels, and every single day coming out with new YouTube videos, LinkedIn videos, articles, blogs, SEO for our clients that just want to have their gift shared with the world. So it's an incredible adventure.
Brilliant. Well, congratulations. Keep up the great work, especially for us. Daryl, how can people find you?
Sure. If you go to sternmarketingacademy.com with a www in front of it, we have all of our products. If you go and put in the coupon code, the best you, we're just practically giving everything away for you guys today, because we really want to help you tap into yourself and your own gifts and your own influence.
Brilliant, Daryl. Well, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Take care. Thank you.
Okay.
Take care. Thank you. And we're going to come back in a minute because we're going to be bringing Dr. Fabrizio Mancini, who is our next speaker. And I'm very excited about that. But before we do, I want to run a very quick commercial that's going to explain a little bit more about Dr. Fabrizio Mancini himself. So I met Dr. Fabrizio, and I'll do a proper introduction to him when he joins us. But I met Dr. Fabrizio, when did I meet him? Actually, it was at least a couple of years ago, and we've been trying to work with each other backwards and forwards, maybe 3 years ago, and then eventually we connected. And he's just a very generous man who is extremely well connected, who knows pretty much everyone in the industry, and is extremely loved by so many people. He's bilingual, originally from Colombia, but brought up in Texas. And he's just got a phenomenal career as a doctor. And he's been on so many shows. He's been producing so many great things. So we he came on board as a founder of the Best You TV, and he's uploaded all his content onto the Best You TV channel. So you can find it now. And this content is available there. Now I'm going to show you a very quick commercial, which is going to give you a little bit of a feel of what his show is all about until he joins us. So let's just play the Dr. Fabrizio Mancini, Thrive in the New Normal.
We are living in unprecedented and uncertain times. Thriving in the New Normal is my new TV show created just for you. Are you aware that while most people are surviving during this new normal, others are thriving like never before? Which one are you? Circumstances have never defined a person. Our responses do. What if you could experience the thoughts and behaviors of some of the most successful people in the world and how they have chosen to respond? Let us help you become the person you were destined to be and not just your current reality. You deserve it. Get ready to thrive. Watch my show now on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Google Play.
We're going to play a very quick video. This is a video of an introduction, an interview that I did with a lady called Ros Savage. This is a lady that has crossed the 5 oceans, a rower, a very, very inspiring lady, a phenomenal, inspiring story. This is part of the Inspiring People interviews that is featured in the Best You TV and is also available on the Best You Online. So let's play the Ros Savage video and we'll be back soon. Thank you so much.
Now, the Best You Personal and Professional Development Virtual Expos are happening globally in 2021. If you are a coach, a motivational speaker, a therapist, and are looking to transform your business, build a community, and generate customers from a global audience, this is the opportunity for you. Now is your chance to join forces with the Best You, one of the largest personal development brands on the planet. Book your speaking slot, your virtual booth, and get tickets to attend now.
Plenty of internal dialogue going on, I can imagine.
Oh, yes.
Plenty of it. And obviously positive ones. Most
not so much.
No, well, but I mean, you carried on, so they did win at the end. But I can only imagine the silences, those moments of just simply hearing the sea, or just you rowing away. I mean, there was plenty of silence, plenty of time to think.
It's really completely silent, because it's normally like from the winds, and the waves are crashing around, and it was a particularly bad year for weather on the Atlantic. 2005 was a very stormy year, so it was rough. There's something about being that alone. I did talk to my mum for about 5 minutes every day, because using a satellite phone is incredibly expensive. But mostly it was just me with my own thoughts, especially after the stereo broke. And I did spend a lot of the time in a very negative place. Like, all the old demons came back up, the self-doubt, the self-criticism. I beat myself up so badly. Every single day I felt like I was failing. I had massive imposter syndrome. I'm just a management consultant, get me out of here. But I think there's a lot to be said for having enough naive optimism to get yourself into something, to have publicly committed to it, and then having too much stubborn pride to get yourself out of it. Yeah. There were so many times when I would have loved to, I was never actually going to quit, but I think, couldn't my boat just capsize, and then I can call for a rescue? Yeah. I have
a reason.
Yes, I can quit without dishonour. Yeah. But I wasn't willing to abandon my pride so much that I would just go, oh, you know what, I'm overwhelmed. Please just come and rescue me. And I found so many different ways to just keep myself going. Okay. I think so much of success is just not quitting. Yeah. Yeah. And I love that Winston Churchill quote, that success is the ability to go from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Yeah. I had plenty of losses of enthusiasm, but I still managed to just keep on going. And it was really only in the last few days that I started to think, you know what? I think I'm going to do this. Yeah. Coming back to mindset, I spent a lot of my time asking myself, can I do this? Can I do this? And the way that the mind works is it then goes, let's go check the memory banks and see if we've ever done this before. Yeah. It goes back through the memory banks and goes, oh, blank. No, we have no evidence we can do this. You know what? I don't think we can do this. Yes. And I had a bit of an epiphany one day. I was like, this is a completely bogus question. It's a pointless question. The only way I can find out whether I can do this is to just keep doing it. Just keep sticking my oars in the water for 12 hours a day. Just keep showing up. And one day I will either have done this or I won't have done this. But that's really the only way I can know.
The Best You Store, helping you do more, achieve more, be more. Store.thebestyou.co.
Welcome back. And well, I'm going to introduce my next guest, Dr. Fabrizio Mancini, who, well, you know, we've got him working this weekend because he's a co-host also in the Spanish speaking room. So I've got him very, very busy. Dr. Fabrizio.
You know, I love to be busy, but I just couldn't be more excited because, you know, this weekend I've already heard from so many people that their lives are being transformed by so much of the wisdom and the knowledge of so many of the speakers that you have brought together. So I'm excited to share my little bit, but I'm actually one of the best students because this is really priceless information and at a time that people can really use it.
Absolutely, Fabrizio. Well, listen, thank you so much. I'm going to do a very brief introduction. Dr. Fabrizio Mancini is America's #1 healthy living media expert, a world-renowned chiropractor, Hay House International best-selling author of The Power of Self-Healing, and host of his popular radio show, Self-Healing with Dr. Fab. He's also the best-selling author of Chicken Soup for the Chiropractic, A Soul, an internationally acclaimed educator, business leader, speaker, consultant, and president emeritus of the Parker University. He's been featured by Dr. Phil, the doctors, Fox News, CNN, CBS, ABC, NBC, Univision, Telemundo, and others. And we just shown before you got here, Dr. Fabrizio, we showed the commercial about your show that's on the Best You TV about thriving in the new normal. And I was explaining how excited we are to have you on the Best You TV as well.
Well, thank you, Bernardo. It's an honor to have you here and for me to be here and share with so many of my friends and so many of the people that are truly contributing to the betterment of humanity.
Well, thank you so much. And Fabrizio is going to be speaking in the Spanish-speaking room. He's also going to be co-hosting. So he's going to be all over the place, just like me. Fabrizio, thank you so much. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernardo. And welcome, everyone. So excited to be here. And like Bernardo said, I'm even more excited because we just launched my TV series, Thriving in the New Normal. And, you know, this TV series is something very special because what I did during this difficult time is that I interviewed some of the most influential people in the world. And I actually asked them, these are friends of mine, these are people that I've known for years. What are they doing to thrive during this time? You know, the new normal is really all about change. And either you can embrace it or resist it. But the challenge that I think most people have is a lot of times we don't know how to change. You know, we feel sometimes that the change is being forced upon us rather than it's being led by us. But one of the things that I learned is that if you just ask the question, right? If you haven't read The Question by Bernardo Moya, you have to read that book. It's one of the best books in the world. And primarily because he really brings into light the fact that the quality of your questions is what really determines the quality of your life. And what I chose to do during pandemic is ask a different question. Instead of asking the question, what has the pandemic done to me? I asked the question, what has the pandemic done for me? You see the difference? What has it done for me? I want you to know that the universe is actually always conspiring for your benefit. Everything that happens in your life, no matter how bad it may seem at the moment, right? I can go back in time where I was almost killed when I was 16, when I lost my father at a young age because of a complication of a surgery, when my brother was killed at a young age, when we moved from the United States from Colombia to the United States, and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. When I got all of my things stolen, my first day of college. I can tell you again and again and again all the difficult experiences that I've undergone, but they were my greatest teachers. They was the ones that pushed me to become the person that I am today. So I want you to know that during this difficult time, the universe is truly conspiring to make you show up, to actually allow you to become the best version of yourself, to remind you that there's much more to you than you are actually living. And that's really something that I wanted to talk to you about, because when Bernardo asked me, he said, what can you share with our audience? What is it that you can truly tell us? If you had to pick one topic that would alter the lives of everybody that is actually listening and viewing this, right? What is the beautiful thing that now we're Roku and we're Apple TV and we're all this Google and every aspect of everything that you can see the Best You TV right now. I wanted you to know that the one thing that kept coming up, especially during this difficult time, is time. It's time. You see, as I've interviewed some of the most influential and successful people in the world, I realized that time was the one thing that they all felt was their greatest commodity, their greatest asset. A lot of times, people say, well, how much money do I have in the bank? Is that an asset? Is that my main asset? Who do I know? Is that your asset? Is my company viable, or am I one of those industries that got hit really hard and now I'm barely surviving? What I realized is that how you manage your time during difficult times, especially during difficult times, but also when you're successful, but especially during difficult times, is how successful you become. It is the one common denominator that I have found in every interview or every influential person that I've done recently. So I want you to understand that you're not alone in this, right? I've often said that this pandemic has actually had no exemptions, right? No matter what color your skin is, no matter what gender you are, no matter what country in the world you live in, no matter what industry you come from, no matter what religion you have, no matter what, everyone has been impacted by this. This universal pause, this what I call universal disruptor, is only here to help you become the person that you were born to be. It's that simple for me. During this pandemic, I, like you, was impacted greatly. I have 4 companies. 2 of my companies were wiped out. Why? Because they required me to be somewhere in order for me to earn. And 2 of my companies were digital and virtually, right? And even though it wasn't as popular as it is today, those 2 companies were generating a lot of income. But this time it allowed me to scale it up and make up for some of the other 2 deficiencies. And as we have come out, then the other ones are coming back up. But now these 2 that are digital, that it doesn't allow me, that I don't have to be anywhere to be able to contribute to people's lives, I was able to scale it up during this time. One of the things that I've always had is that I've always kept my mentorship program very small. So what I did is I took 30 years of content, I created a virtual component. So now anyone in the world can actually learn from over 35 years of experience, all the content that I created, so they can actually live the life of their dreams. I call that the Fab Life. Live the drive of your dreams. Are you ready? Are you ready to make this weekend transformational? That's really intentional, right? When I show up, is whether it's to listen to the other speakers that are here this weekend, including Bernardo and many of the other greats, or when I'm here with you presenting, I want you to know that I'm 100% in the moment. Why? Because I care about you. And I also know that there is so much more potential in you. So I want this weekend for you to be transformational. I want your intention to say, I am not going to be the same person at the end of this weekend than I was before I started. And I want you to make some decisions. I want you to make the decisions that you will change the way you think about things, and you will change the way you do things. Because those are the 2 areas that you can actually transform any life. If you do them both at the same time, it's even more powerful than anything. So my question to you is, what are you looking for during this weekend? What are you looking for during these presentations? And if you can truly engage, right? And I think that it's still time for you to let your loved ones and let other people know that this is going on. We have free tickets. I mean, Bernardo has been so generous to allow all of our friends to be able to enjoy this. I have sent over 500,000 messages of people that follow me and that know me, because I want everyone to be here. So I thank you for being here. Now let's get on with the talk, because I've been preparing for this. I'm so excited. So I titled this something that is called Pandemic Proof Time Management. Pandemic Proof Time Management. Now, these time management rules are pretty much for any time, but I wanted you to understand there's a lot of people out there that think that this pandemic does not allow you to be successful, does not allow you to become the best version of yourself, does not allow you to be happy and live in abundance, does not allow you to enjoy, right? Because the whole world is struggling. But I want you to know how you manage your time will allow you to achieve pretty much anything you want to. So what I did is that I started identifying 7 rituals to get things done. What are the 7 habits that I have seen, not only in my personal life, that I have studied over the last 30 years in personal development, and that are more critical today in the people that I have interviewed than ever? I really hope that you will tune in to the Fab Life TV. I really hope that you will check out my TV show, Thriving in the New Normal. I know that actually you will enjoy it to no end. The information there is so powerful. But I want you to know that of all the things that I could be bringing you today, I chose time for a specific purpose. Time is the one thing that you can never get back. It's the one thing that you can never get back. You know, when I've interviewed billionaires, one of the things that I typically ask is the fact that if they had any regrets. And at the same time, most of them have said to me that I did not make the time for the things that matter while I was building my wealth. And they can go back, right? I've been a healthcare advocate, right, for over 30 years, a provider and a holistic provider. I've been inspiring millions of people how to live healthy lives. And one of the things that I can tell you is that your health is your number one value, because you cannot get your health back. And how you spend your time today choosing to be healthier than you were yesterday will determine where you end up in your 3rd quarter of life, because you can't take it back. So these billionaires will tell me things like, I didn't spend enough time taking care of my health. So now I'm dealing with cancer. I'm dealing with heart disease. I'm dealing with diabetes. I'm dealing with arthritis. I'm dealing with all these chronic illnesses, obesity and others, because they did not make the time to be able to be healthy. Others will tell me that, unfortunately, I did not make time for my personal relationships. The love of my life left me because I was not there. And I've never been able to find that again. My children are not speaking to me right now because I wasn't there for them when they were growing up. You see, how you spend your time throughout life will determine the outcome of your life. And I know if those billionaires were here, they would tell you, pay attention to how you spend your time. So what I've done is that I put together some of these rituals. And I want to start with the first one. And I chose this one because most people need to be aware of their time. You see, every time that I ask people, hey man, how you doing? They say, oh man, I'm so busy. And what I realize is that we live busy lives. If there's one blessing in this pandemic, is that it's forced the world to slow down. It's forced the world to slow down. It's forced the people that travel all the time to not travel as much, like me. I travel once or twice a week for the last 30 years. It forced the people that were not spending enough time at home to be home. It forced the people that were not seeing their children as much to see their children all the time. It forced couples to be able to be more together, to figure out how to deepen that relationship. It forced people to rethink their business. It forced people to finally have an unemployment, getting fired, to make the decision that they weren't happy in the first place. A Gallup poll was done recently that showed that over 70% of the people are not engaged and do not like where they work. Now, this unemployment all over the world has really taught us one thing: the fact that it forced people to do what they love. And that's the message that we need to give everyone out there that is unemployed. Do not become a victim of this. This is the universe pushing you to go and do the thing you want to do. For some of you, it may be on starting your own business. For some of you, may be finding a different type of career path. For some of you, may be going back to school to get that degree that you always thought that you wanted, and you always regretted not getting it. Whatever it is for you, you must be aware of how you spend your time. Now, what most people don't realize is that we have 1,440 minutes in a day. 1,440 minutes in a day. A friend of mine sent me that statistic and I couldn't believe it. I'm saying, my goodness, if you say to yourself, make every minute count, you have 1,440 ways to do it every single day. Isn't that amazing? So if you break it down in minutes, now you're breaking it down to how you're spending every minute. So how you spend your time has to be intentional. It can no longer be something that you allow others to dictate for you. It cannot be something that all of a sudden you wake up and you really have nothing in your schedule, in your calendar. It cannot be something that you continue to waste. I want you to know that this is the reason that I started with that particular ritual, is because I'm very conscientious of my time. So one of the exercises that I wanted to share with you that I think will be very productive is the fact that you write down how you spend your time from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. Let's say that you slept 5 hours, right? 4, 6 hours, 8 hours if you're lucky. How are you spending the rest of your time? Be aware of your time. Take a look at your calendar and see how you spend. Maybe what I usually do is I take a week and I write down what I do every single day on a piece of paper. And then I take a second day and I write down. So if it's the same repeat thing, I don't write it again. I write the new thing that I did maybe on Tuesday that I didn't do on Monday. But in a typical week, for most people, you will get a really good snapshot of how you're spending your time. And what I'm going to tell you is you will be shocked. You will be shocked how your time is being spent based on other people's priorities and not your priority. Why? Because it's not intentional. It's not something that you're choosing to do. It's something that you're reacting to. Is this making sense to you? I want this to really become something that you grasp, because I know that if you start paying attention to how you spend your time and you become aware of what's filling up your time, now all of a sudden there should be no surprise why you are where you are. Make sense? There's a lot of people that say, I don't have enough money. But how are they spending their time to actually earn money? Do they understand the value that they can bring others? Are they continue to sharpen their skills in order to increase that value? Are they going out there to try to find a market and individuals that can benefit from their value? What are you doing every single day to be able to earn money? Because if it's not consciously, if it's not intentional, it's not going to happen. And then the other question is, how are you treating the money you do have? I remember one time that I was a student, right? And I was in student loans and I had no money to myself. I was borrowing money to go to school. And I remember one time I was driving around a wealthy man that came to speak to our college, and I was the volunteer that I would ask the president, could I go pick up a speaker? And because I wanted to pick their brains, right? And I remember that I was picking up, I think it was Mark Victor Hansen. And Mark Victor Hansen was the co-founder of Chicken Soup for the Soul, one of the biggest literary books of all times, over 600 million copies sold, 500 million copies sold. And one of the things that I was recognizing is the fact that I was asking questions about how do they spend their time. And one of the things that he did is that he actually showed me his schedule. And he showed me exactly how he was accomplishing everything he wanted to accomplish, because it was in his calendar. It was dictated. There was nothing else that was going to come there, you know? And I realized that as a young student, I needed to learn to better manage my time. And I started paying attention of how attentive I was when I was in class, or was I was there being distracted, looking at other things, the computer, the phones, or whatever. I started paying attention to how I dealt with people, and I started being more present with everyone and everything that I did. I started recognizing that, I needed to develop some skills that I had not developed yet. So I made time for that. And I will always be indebted because I realized that we all have that opportunity. We all have that opportunity to actually manage our time better. So as you do this exercise, you're going to take Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You're going to write the things that you did between the moment you woke up to the moment you went to sleep. See what average of sleeping time you have. See what awakened time you have, which is what we call productive time. Some people, if they want to be productive, they don't sleep as much. Some people don't even realize how many hours they average of sleep every single time. And then be able to go through those days and add anything that you did do in one day, but you didn't do it in the other way, just so we can get a good snapshot. And then what I want you to do is highlight the things that actually are the things that you feel are important in your life. The things that you feel is where you want to go in your life. My second ritual that I can tell you will change your life is to know your top 3 to 5. This is what I've been taught for many years. This is what I taught for many years. But what are the top 3 to 5 goals that you have set for yourself the night before for the next day? You see, if you do not make the time before you go to sleep to know how you're going to spend your next day, most likely you're not going to get anything that you feel is important in that day. And the reason I say that is because we know that if your calendar is not full, your agenda is not full, then your agenda and your calendar will become somebody else's. And I got to tell you, I have experienced that in my life. In my early days, I would let other people dictate how I spend my day. So I went to a seminar many years ago, and this is something that Jack Canfield has taught for many years, but it really resonated with me because I was a very young man that had just started becoming very successful. And I realized that as successful that you become, it can be also very distracting. And it takes you off your path. And that's the reason that sometimes people become successful, but they're not able to sustain it. Because all of a sudden the success breeds distraction. Unless you're very focused about what are the top priorities in your life. Now, these goals, these priorities may change from time to time, and that's okay. That's why we recommend that you do it the night before. So that way it's relevant. It's exactly what you need to accomplish the next day. Come up with 3 or 5. And here is the secret. Do that first thing in the morning. Do that first thing in the morning. Your window of productivity usually is highest early morning. I have developed a habit for over the last 17 years in which first thing in the morning, I hit the gym. I go work out. It's the first thing to change my physiology. I think Anthony Robbins has spoken about that and many others, that when you change your physiology first thing in the morning, it opens up your day to be more successful than ever. And then the night before, I had already identified what are the 3 or 5 things that must get done. Not that should or if I could. No, that must get done the next day. And I begin my day that way. Make sense? I want you to know that if you practice this ritual on a regular basis, you will be extremely effective and efficient with your time. Most people don't take the time to do that. Most people, all of a sudden, they find themselves planning for things that really don't matter as much. But your time, it needs to be planned, just like if you were planning a vacation, right? When you're planning a vacation, what happens? You have to get permission as to what days off you're going to have. You have to check with everybody that's going on the trip. When can they do it? That takes effort. Then you have to do research about, okay, what city are we going to go? And then if you're price conscious, then you have to check what airlines and all the airlines, what pricing, right? In the old days, we had to do it by calling every airline and trying to find what a ticket was. Nowadays, thanks to the computer and Google, you can actually research some of that. And even some of the sites will even compare the prices in different websites. All of a sudden now you have to realize what hotel are we going to be staying in. And then you start searching the many different options and try to find the best fit for your budget, but also for the style of vacation you want to have. And then you have to think about, oh, we need transportation. What about a car? Do I need to go find a car? How many rental agencies do we have out there? You see what I'm saying? Look at all the effort that you've taken to do a vacation that is not going to change your life. Granted, it's going to help you rest and enjoy life, but it's not going to be your biggest contribution of value, right? A vacation is what you take whenever you contribute great value and then you recharge. And then you contribute great value and you recharge. So what if you took the same amount of energy or more to plan your day, to plan your time, and to be effective in the things that truly matter to you that particular time, right? When you do it the night before, we know right now, this is right now. This is not, my New Year's resolutions that I set up weeks or months before. No, this is right now. This is what I need to do right now. The next ritual is one that I mentioned a little bit briefly earlier, but I want to make a big case out of it. And that is to ensure that once you understand what you want, right? That's really critical. You got to know what you want in order to manage your time better, because you can't just do things without a purpose, right? What is it that you're trying to achieve? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? Is it a personal goal? Is it a professional goal? I like to split them both ways. Once you get clarity on what those are, personally or professionally, then you identify what activities must I do today in order to achieve that. And that's the simple question you need to ask yourself. What activities do I need to do today in order to achieve that? So let's take, for instance, one simple example. You want to lose 5 pounds, right? We know that New Year's resolutions, the number one New Year's resolution over and over again is people want to lose weight. Don't ask me why, but it's an obsession, not just in the United States, but around the world. So, okay, so how do I lose 5 pounds? We begin the exercise that we put my goal, right? My priority. This is what I want, to lose 5 pounds. I always teach, put a time frame around it, right? So let's say I want to use 5 pounds within 4 weeks, to be conservative, 4 weeks. Great. Now you have your time frame. Then I teach you, why do you want to do it? Some of you may say, because I want to look better, I want to feel better, I want to be able to get on those jeans that I haven't been able to wear since I was in high school. I want to be able to wear a suit that I bought, when I first started working, but now I've gained, too much weight and it doesn't close, it doesn't fit, whatever it is. Then you list the activities of what must I do today, not tomorrow, right? Not a week from now, not a month from now, but what must I do today to lose 5 pounds? And then you write down the answer. So if you were to ask me, and that was my goal, I would say, number one is to do at least 20 minutes of interval fitness exercise, cardio exercise, where I go hard for 2 minutes, slow for 2 minutes, hard for 2 minutes, slow for 2 minutes. Why? Because it's one of the fastest ways that you can lose weight as far as fitness. Another thing that I can do is to reduce my intake of carbs, right? We all know that, but we're all addicted to carbs, right? Because carb is sugar. But let's say we can reduce it, right? Maybe not eliminate it altogether, but instead of having the bread when I go into a restaurant, maybe I'm just going to have a quick salad and I'm going to ask the waiter not to bring the bread, right? Another thing that I could do is to be able to maybe take some supplements that are going to allow my body to be able to function better so I can maybe be able to lose a little bit of weight. That's another thing that you can do, right? Because we know that there's a lot of people out there that have the right supplements that are really helping them lose the weight and keeping it off. You just have to really understand what that's about and what are the popular things out there that people are using. Another thing may be that I'm going to reduce my sugar intake, such as sodas, energy drinks, adding sugar to my coffee or tea, desserts. We all know that sugar is not going to help you lose weight. So let's reduce it or eliminate it. So now I've written 4 things. So now what I got to do is that I got to do that. What must I do today in order to make losing 5 pounds a reality? And I put it in my calendar, in my agenda. And I make it into an appointment, like if it was the most important appointment. If it's something that I must do, like 20-minute workouts, I'm going to put that first thing in the morning. From 6 to 6:30, I'm going to work out, and I'm going to work out hard, right? If you want to do 40 minutes, that's fine. If you want to do an hour, that's fine. I'm just giving you an example of what's possible. Then during lunch, you put yourself a little reminder, right? I have a software that actually allows me to remind me myself anything that I want to stay on track with. So let's say that I'm about to have lunch. I will send myself a text, right, through my software that says, hey, keep those carbs away. Get more greens in your plate. Something like that. So that's how you can do it. But make sure that every single day you have activities that are going to allow you to achieve that goal. Now, what we notice is that when you have activities in your calendar, then you're most likely to be able to accomplish what you want, because now, what have you done? You've reserved time for the things that matter. Are you beginning to get it? You reserve time. Anytime you put something in your calendar, it's like a reservation, right? Whenever you have an appointment, you put it in your calendar. That is important. Whenever you take a reservation to eat out, you put it in your calendar, right? Nowadays, if you go to Open Table, it automatically puts it in your calendar. I want you to know you must treat your goals, the things that you want, the same way. If you don't reserve the time every single day to work on those things, how are they going to manifest themselves? Sometimes it may be that you need to work on some of your thinking, maybe reflecting, maybe listening to audiobooks or reading a book that will help you understand how can you change belief systems? How can you change thought processes? What are some of the new thought processes out there that are allowing people to succeed when before they weren't? You have to reserve time for the things that matter. That's number 3. Number 4, and this is probably the most impactful that I can tell you, that I have lived since I was 16 years old. And that is, live every day with a sense of urgency. Live every day with a sense of urgency. You see, I was involved in a robbery when I was 16, and people came into the house to rob the house. I just happened to be the guest there, but they almost killed us. And thank God, the neighbor heard the commotion, called the police, and they fled. And we were okay, even though we were bruised, and my brother ended up, getting stitches in his head. But I want you to know this. Ever since that day, I realized that my life would have been over at 16 years old. And I made a decision to myself to live every day like if it was my last one. I publicly have not shared that from the stage too much, but I want you to know that was what changed my whole life. When I made the decision to live with a sense of urgency, it changed my life. Because now all of a sudden, I was not living in procrastination. I was not living as I should. I was living as I must, right? Because I only got one day. And whether it is to spend more quality time with my children, like I did last night, or if it is to be able to spend more quality time with my partner, if it is to be spending more quality time in my companies, in my contributions, in my community, I had to be able to recognize that I cannot put it off. And that is the one thing that a lot of people unfortunately do, and it keeps them from truly managing their time properly. See, anytime you say to yourself and your subconscious mind and to the universe, I'll do it tomorrow, what happens? Now, all of a sudden, you take in the urgency and the value, the importance of that one thing out of the picture. You're sending a message to the universe. If this was important, I should attract it in my life. But you're not, because anytime that you procrastinate and you live for tomorrow or next week, what you can do today, right? Like we've heard many times, you are procrastinating your own success. How many times have you heard people say, in order to be successful, all you got to do is get yourself out of the way? We are the number one reason why we don't achieve what we want in life. We are the number one reason why we don't achieve what we want in life. The reason that Best You is here is to be able to bring you the best speakers around the world that have already figured it out, written the best-selling books, being keynote speakers and international speakers, individuals that have great podcasting or are on the media talking about these things. That's who you have this weekend. The question is, are you going to pay attention? Are you going to be decisive? But all I can tell you that unless you start living your life today, like if it's the last day, so when you go to sleep, you can go and put your head on the pillow and have no regrets. You see, when you live in the moment, when you live in the now, there is no regrets. There is no depression. There is no worry. There is no anxiety. You cannot be in activity and be emotionally depressed at the same time. It does not work that way. That's why so many experts always tell you, whenever you're feeling emotionally down, get into activity. Do something. Do something. Help somebody else out. Do something for yourself. Go work out. Take a walk. Do something. And all of a sudden you find that you get through that. And then you'll get through the next difficult time and the next difficult time, because we are resilient as human beings. We can get through anything. We're also adaptive beings. We will adapt to whatever circumstances are thrown our way. We're talking about this new normal, and I've been talking on television and radio, all talking about it. Nobody really knows what it looks like, but we know it's different than it was, right? Would you agree? I mean, we went to a restaurant with my kids yesterday, and just the idea of having people wearing masks in a restaurant and having to come in wearing masks and people being asked to wear their masks, it just doesn't seem natural, right? But we've been doing it for the last few months. But that's what we will adapt. And hopefully we can get through that. But if we don't, we will adapt. So I want to make sure that you make a decision that today is the only thing you have, right? I don't even think about tomorrow or the next week or the next month, because I cannot. All of my success is determined by how I think and behave today. It's that simple for me. If I was to give you the formula for achieving anything you want, living your potential, the way that I teach my mentees is to live for today, right? I had a mentee recently that called me, and they wanted to write a book for 20 years. And I said, look, I've written 4 books. I just wrote my 5th book proposal that we're selling in New York next week. And I said, I don't even deserve to be writing a book because my English is terrible. My penmanship is terrible. My sentence structuring is terrible. And anyone can write a book if I can write a book. That's the way I've always said it, and I've written 4 best-selling books. It's not about you being perfect in writing a book. It's about you having a solution to a problem. The bigger the problem, the more books you're going to sell. It's that simple in writing a book. So what is your solution? And if you start living every day like if it's your last day, and when I told her that, she wrote 2 books and she just sent me her numbers. And during the pandemic, her business has skyrocketed. Because of those books, she gained a credibility to be able to be taken seriously. And now thousands of people are becoming clients of her. Anyone can do that, right? I've been teaching people how to write best-selling books and how to become an expert. I have a program that is called Influencer. How, it's a workbook, it's videos, it's audios. It gives you all step by step. It's little bites that will guide you as to how you can become the influencer that you were meant to be, right? So I want you to know you can do that. You can do that. So the next one is you have to limit your social media and your email time. I want you to know that ever since we got email, and then ever since the internet has allowed social media pretty much to dictate our lives, we have to be very careful and put it into context of time. One of the things that most people do when they wake up is what? Take a look at their feed in social media. Take a look and see if anybody texted them. Take a look and see if anybody emailed them. Like if you're going to miss out on something, right? That's the mindset of most people. You're looking at all these things, and you're looking now at TikTok and Reel and things that don't even have any value. They're pure entertainment. For what reason? What reason? Because then you're complaining to your friends that you're living in survival, that you barely don't have enough to make it through the month, that you don't have the ability to provide for your family, that you haven't been able to travel because you just flat broke, that you can't start a business because you have no money to put into it. Whatever your reason is, I want you to know you have to limit your social media and your email. So what I've learned by interviewing some of the greatest people and what I've implemented myself is you schedule your social media time and you schedule your email time. It's that simple. For the last 20 years, I've been getting over 3,000 emails a day. So I schedule half an hour in the morning and half an hour in the afternoon to do my emails. I don't look at my feed in social media, even though I have hundreds of thousands of people feeding me, right? Every single day. I don't look at that, but only once a day. Especially during this pandemic, because it seems like there's so much negativity out there. I cannot afford for my mindset to go into a negative place because I got too much to do. I want you to get too much to do too. We shouldn't be wasting our time in other people's opinions and issues because you got no control over that. If you want to get entertained by swiping in TikTok, great. Get entertained. It's fun. I've done it. I'm just saying, don't spend the majority of your time doing that. They say that the average person spends over 4 hours watching television, right? And over 7 hours on social media. A day. A day. All I'm asking you is limited. Limited to, at least when it comes to social media, television, and all that, limited to at least less than 2 hours a day. Because you need to put your time to work for you. You need to make sure that nothing is stopping you from being successful. The next one is you got to learn to say no more often than you say yes. When you learn to manage your time, and now that you have clarity about what you want, you have to be able to say no to people in life. That was a very difficult thing for me. But remember, whenever you say no to somebody else's request, you're saying yes to your mission, to your purpose, to your wants, to your goals. And that's what I had to learn the hard way. I was saying yes so much that by the end of the day, I had no time for me. Does that sound familiar? That happens to most people. And then lastly, you have the 80-20 rule. I'm going to end with this because I want you to know Pareto was a scientist from Italy that discovered what we call the Pareto law. The Pareto law now is being taught as the 80-20 rule. It's one of the most powerful rules in business. And it's one that allows us to recognize that Pareto was able to mathematically show people that by simply taking a look at what you did, 80% of what you did not yield the results you thought they were. That only 20% of your activities were actually yielding 80% of your outcome. So he began to mathematically prove that in the many years ago. And then that notion has actually become kind of like a business law. That if you ever feel like your outcome is not where you want, right? That you're not attracting the things you want, it's because you're spending your time in the 80%. But if you find yourself actually doing being very successful and being very effective and efficient, it's because you're spending most of your time in the 20%. So I want you to understand that 80-20 rule, you must live it every single day. You must take a look at that list that I asked you to do earlier, right? To see how you spend a typical day. And I want you to only highlight that 20%. I want you to highlight the things that really matter to you. And I want you to delegate or get rid of everything else. Why? Because you cannot afford to spend your time on the 80%, especially at a time like this where you need to be your best, where you actually have to show up better than you've ever shown up because the stake is higher today. The challenges are bigger. The challenges out there with people struggling are bigger than ever. The industries, depending on your industry, you might have been in one of those industries like hospitality or airlines that got hit really hard. You got to get out of your comfort zone and you got to come up with some creativity because nobody's going to hand it out to you. That 80-20% rule is one of the most powerful things that I've learned about how I manage my time. That has helped me greatly become very successful. That's what I want for you. That's what Bernardo wants for you. That's what the best you is here to give you. It's here to give you the opportunity to manage your time properly so you can achieve the things you want, so you can become the person that you were destined to become. Does that make sense now? I want you to really pay attention to all the 7 rituals. I want you to watch this over and over again if you need to. I want you to write it down, make a note to yourself. I want you to start writing those lists and putting them in your agenda every single day. I want you to recognize that if you follow those 7 rituals, you will become one of the most successful people you know. I promise you that. I've seen that again and again and again. And I want that for you. We all want that for you. We want you to be more successful in 2021 than you've ever been. We want you to learn from what happened in 2020 to become the person that you're meant to be. You know, this expo in Miami is wonderful because it's at the beginning of the year. It's for you to be able to right now put into action the things that allows you to become the person that you want to become. So I want you to know that right now it's very important that you realize that whatever you have chosen to become during this weekend, you can accomplish it. But you got to believe in yourself when most people may not believe in you. I was taught at a very early age that if I ever had an idea or an accomplishment that I wanted to do, like writing a book, right? To expect that 9 out of 10 people were going to talk me out of it. Maybe you get lucky and you get 1. Maybe you get 2 that are going to support you. But most people will not support you, not because they don't want to or because they want to hurt you. It's because they only see you for what you have shown up to that point, or because they never done it and they can't even think about you doing something that they haven't done, right? So they just tell you based upon where they are. So I learned very early on that it's okay to share your goals and your dreams and your ambitions, but it's not okay to let anybody rob them from you. A best example that I can tell you is when Wayne Dyer said to me, you know, Fab, what do you think is the greatest treasure in the world? And I happened to be thinking, and because I travel all over the world, I was thinking, is it Le Louvre, you know, the museum in Paris? Is it the Vatican that has all those amazing works of art? Is it you know, some very special mine or something? And he said, no, it's a cemetery. A cemetery because that's where most people are buried with their dreams still inside of them, with their passions. So imagine the world leaders that they left behind. Imagine the scientists that could have invented or come up with some solution that the world is struggling with. Remember the artists that would have painted or would have created sculptures that were something else. They died with their dream inside of them. The way that Dr. Wayne Dyer used to tell us is, it's like dying with the music still inside of you. All I can tell you is, as a very personal friend of mine for many years, and I was his doctor too, he did not die with the music still inside of him. He actually celebrated his music every single day. And we all know that because we all grew from him. I want you to know that how you manage this time is very critical. And I want you to look me up. You know, my website is drfatmancini.com. There's many things. If I can offer you any type of support, please let me know. But the one thing that I really want to stress to you right now is that believe in yourself, even if others don't. And even if you have a hard time, know that Bernardo and the best you and me and all the speakers that are here this weekend believe in you. That's why we do this. We do this because we believe in you. So keep enjoying it. Make this weekend transformational, and know that we love you, we care about you, and that you're not alone during this difficult time. Together, we're all going to be stronger and better as we move out of this. That's the promise that we're all making to you. And that's the one thing that the only thing it requires is for you to say yes and act on it. Thank you so much.
Fabricio, thank you so much. That was, as always, very inspiring and you know, so true. All your words are true, and I always feel inspired. So thank you so much for all the great work that you do, your generosity, and because I know you're very generous. And thank you for donating. We already have a winner, for the one-to-one coaching that you've given, a very generous, valued at $5,000 one-to-one with Fabricio. And from the people that are watching today, we're going to pick another winner. So thank you so much, Fabricio. And thank you so much for supporting the best you. We love you very much.
Thank you.
Take care. All the best. Thank you. Well, guys, we're going to be playing a very quick video with you, which is just a very brief interview, one of the ones that we featured in the best you. And then our next speaker in the next literally 5 to 6 minutes is going to be Bill Walsh. So we're looking forward to that. He's going to bring us some good entrepreneurial tips, and we're looking forward to it. So thank you so much. See you soon.
We are living in unprecedented and uncertain times. Thriving in the New Normal is my new TV show created just for you. Are you aware that while most people are surviving during this new normal, others are thriving like never before? Which one are you? Circumstances have never defined the person. Our responses do. What if you could experience the thoughts and behaviors of some of the most successful people in the world and how they have chosen to respond? Let us help you become the person you were destined to be and not just your current reality. You deserve it. Get ready to thrive. Watch my show now on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Google Play.
What's the best way of somebody managing time?
Well, I don't know if we ever manage time. I think we manage our actions in time because we all have the same amount of time. We call it time management, but it's really our activity management. If a person was to sit down and write down everything that they do in a day and make a comprehensive list of everything that they do in a day within possibly a month, each days of the month, what do they do? And then next to it, put down another column next to it. What is the productivity per hour? How much does it produce per hour economically? And next to that, another column that's how much meaning of inspiration does it provide? And next to that, what is the cost of replacement? If I was to delegate it to somebody, what would I have to pay to have them do that? And next to that, another column is how much time is spent. If we put those 4 columns together against all the things that we do in a day, we'll find out that in most cases, most people that are less productive are doing low priority things. They're majoring in minors and minoring in majors. They're doing less priority things and not the most productive or most meaningful things. But by going through and doing an inventory of that and identifying what really produces economically and what is really meaningful, usually the thing that produces is something that serves others. What's meaningful, it serves ourselves. Finding a balance of those meaningfulness as in the things that are most productive allows us to earn more income to delegate to lower priority activities. Once we delegate to lower priority activities, we get way more done. we feel way more fulfilled, we have a greater self-worth and net worth, and we're able to free ourselves up for creative thinking with the executive center in our brain instead of having to live in frustrations with our amygdala. So we actually activate our angelic mind, as I call it, instead of our animal mind. This is the most productive and most powerful day we can make. So prioritizing our day every day and living by high priorities is key. Parkinson's law states that if we don't fill our day with high priority actions that inspire us, it's going to keep filling up with low priority distractions that don't.
Tell me about, where does inspiration come from?
Well, whenever you're setting goals that are aligned to your highest values, the things that are most priority, most important to you, you're spontaneously inspired from within, like a calling from within to act. Nobody has to ever remind me or motivate me or incentivize me to get up and research and write every day and to teach every day. I love doing that. I can't wait to do it. And whenever you're doing things that are high in your values, you can't wait to do it. And when you can't wait to do something that inspires you, people can't wait to get your inspiration. But whenever you're doing something lower on your values, because you'll procrastinate, hesitate, and frustrate in doing it in comparison to the higher values, you'll need motivation and drive and incentives to get you to do it. And you're more avoiding pain and seeking pleasure in that mode. So I always say I'd rather fill my day with inspirations than have to live my life through having to be motivated from the outside. Motivation is a symptom, never a solution. Inspiration is the fulfillment of life.
But is it not difficult for people that maybe have just kind of like a mundane job? Is it not difficult sometimes maybe for them to find inspiration if they're just trying to bring a living in?
Actually, if they have never taken the time to identify the job description that they have and identify what's really truly high on their value, and then identify how specifically those activities are going to help them fulfill their highest value, they're going to have a mundane job. But it's never what happens to them. It's never what they're going through. It's their perception of it. William James, the father of modern psychology, said that the greatest discovery of his generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their perceptions and attitudes of mind. So if we take the time and ask the simple question, how specifically is the job duty I'm doing right now going to help me fulfill what is most meaningful, most inspiring, my highest priority, my highest value in my life, my purpose in life? If I ask that question and don't give myself excuses for not answering it, and just keep asking and answering that question over and over again, eventually my mind will see the blessing in it and see things on the way, not in the way. And the same job that seemed to be mundane is now inspiring. And the more you become engaged and the more you be fulfilled in the job. And when you're doing something that's meaningful, you look forward to the job and you're not trying to escape it with tea and coffee and internet distractions or spectators, things, or etc. And you're engaged.